Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be talking about my review and my thoughts on the Mirage. I've done a elite spec video for the Firebrand, the Scourge, and the Revenant, but that was during the betas for the specializations, and I haven't done one since the game launched for Path of Fire. So I thought this was an appropriate time because I have been slacking in videos. I don't know what's going on, but my drive, personal my brain's just destroying my body. But I found the hope and I found the drive, and you know what, the Springer's just too cute, and I've really been enjoying my time in Path of Fire. And that said, today's about the Mirage. So we're gonna get off the Springer first, and I shall go over my traits, my skills, and my weapons that I'm taking for the Mirage as of late. This is not meta. Well, really, everything's kind of not meta right now because we don't exactly know what's going to work out in the long run, and I predict there's going to be a big bounce patch coming up fairly soon just because of everything that was introduced. So with all that preamble done, we're going to move on to the weapons, the utilities, and the traits, and just some brief skirmishes with spiders or some undead creatures because we're in the desolation right now. So let's open up our hero panel. What I am taking as of right now is a mixture of Viper and Carrion, and I think I have one dire piece, but I do have a optimal link down below which will guide you to the Guild Wars 2 build editor, and I have set up just the ideal stats and gear that you want to take. So for now it's mostly exotic Vipers. I don't have a rune set in place for this gear that I have on. My staff, I am taking a staff. I don't have any upgrade slots. Don't look at them, I'm ashamed. And then I have a axe and a torch. I find the scepter to also be really good for condition damage, but out in the open world and being kind of new to this area, I find the staff to be a bit more defensive with all the boons that it provides and the quick teleportations and just a bunch of clone generation, and especially with traits you can cut down the cooldown of the skills by quite a decent amount of time. So that is why I am taking the staff instead of the scepter. I have been playing with the scepter, especially in PvP. It's really fun in PvP. My back item is rare. I feel so bad that I'm actually showing you guys this. But everything else is pretty much exotic, and a couple ascended, Jura's Duel. I have to get these replaced with either Carrion and ideally Vipers. But I'm working on finishing out her gear. I at least wanted her to be in full exotic before I did this. So moving on to the traits, I'm using Chaos, Illusions, and the only Mirage. So for Chaos, I am taking Illusionary Defense, mostly for open world and especially in the Desolation. These monsters don't mess around. They will hurt you. It will do quite a bit of damage and condition damage, even though, actually no, it's just to take reduced damage. It's not increased toughness. So I think this does apply to conditions as well. In a PvP scenario, sometimes I will take Descent into Madness, as your illusions in PvP tend to get bursted down fairly quickly. I might also take Descent into Madness in the open world if I feel more comfortable fighting the enemies around, but reduced damage is always nice. Master Manipulation, possibly. I wouldn't take this because at least for this build I'm not using any manipulations, so I don't really have a use for that. Next, I'm taking Chaotic Dampening, mostly for the reduced staff recharge. Chaotic Transference I do also play around with just for more condition damage based on toughness. And finally, I'm taking Bountiful Disillusionment. This is really for the Vigor, which plays heavily into the Mirage and its condition damage capability. I think it increases condition damage when you have the Mirage equipped and you gain Vigor. And with the F2, it applies Confusion, and with traits, Torment, Cripple, and it also gives Vigor. Moving on to the illusions, I'm taking Confounding Power, can increase damage and condition damage for each active illusion. Next is Maim the Disillusioned, Torment, more Torment. Your main conditions for the Mirage are going to be Torment and Confusion. And finally, I have Master of Fragmentation for increased critical hit chance on the Mine Rack, Cripple on Cry Frustration, strikes up to 5 targets within range for Diversion, and reflects projectiles for Distortion. I would be taking Malicious Sorcery if I'm taking a Scepter. Phantasmal Force, I don't see a reason why you would take this for the Mirage, because it is more clone focused rather than phantasm focused. And finally, for the Mirage, I am taking Self-Deception. Whenever you use a deception skill, you will create a clone. I also would be fine with taking Riddle of Sand, because this gives you more confusion and more condition damage. I'm mostly taking this for extra clone generation, which will play into Infinite Horizon. I found that I get a lot more spike condition damage if I take these two. And I also am taking Mirrored Axes, which will generate an extra axe and reduce the recharge on your axe skills. But Riddle of Sand is also nice, especially I would imagine this being really useful or the better option in a raiding scenario, but I'm not sure how. Yeah, I would. Never mind. I'm just gonna leave it there. That's what I'm taking right now. Nothing too fancy. Nothing super niche. It's pretty much just like pure condition damage. But that is what I'm running, and I must say I'm having a lot of fun with it. Ooh, let's go attack these wargs. And I finally got my Griffin completely maxed out. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So for the Mirage, I tend to start out with just spamming the 2 twice, and then moving into that, use my 7. Oh, I didn't talk about my utility skills. Oh no. We're gonna pop over here. So that was just a brief skirmish, nothing too special. So the axe skills, we have your auto attack, which does bleeding, torment, and then bleeding and torment on your final hit. We have lingering thoughts, which is an ammunition skill, and you'll spin around, leaving this little illusion or mirage. And if an enemy is in a I want to say like 400 radius of that mirage, a clone will spawn, and you can use this twice to get 2 quick clones. And then we have Axes of Symmetry, which will relocate all your clones, all your axe wielding clones, and strike this target and put on more confusion. For my utilities, I'm taking False Oasis for the Vigor. I'm also taking Illusionary Ambush for the teleportation if I'm not using the axe and I'm in staff. And it also gives Mirage Cloak, which will transfer over to my illusions, allowing them to use the ambush skill. Next, I'm taking Crystal Sands for more confusion and an extra Mirage Mirror, and Sand Through Glass for a stun break and an extra Mirage Mirror. And finally, I'm taking Jaunt mostly for the ability to move around quickly in a combat situation, and for the extra confusion. So let's go fight this veteran canyon spider. I have to just point out, it is the most satisfying thing when you are attacking an enemy. Here, I'll try to do it right now. When you're attacking an enemy and you get one of them down fairly low, and you're certain that your conditions will do the rest of the job right there, and you use your 7th skill, or in my situation, it's my 7th skill. You use, I keep forgetting the name, Illusionary Ambush. You'll use Illusionary Ambush on them, and you will transport all your clones to a different target, and you won't have to generate any more clones. So just, oh god, I'm about to go down. I'm not paying attention to my health bar at all. That's not good. But you will be fighting someone, they're almost dead, and you might not have Axes of Symmetry up. And if you're not using your axe, you won't have Axes of Symmetry at all. But you will have Illusionary Ambush, so you'll just relocate all your clones and continue fighting, and you won't have to use any clone generation skills. Let's continue to fight this one. There we go. Also, there's a lot of combinations with the elite skill Jaunt. As you can see here, if we use 9, Sand Through Glass, and then we can jaunt forward and teleport to the Mirage Mirror. It's the perfect distance traveled to be able to get in contact with it. And with the Mirage, much like the Thief profession, the Mirage being an elite spec, it carries over the ambush skills from Thief, which means instead of stealthing and getting a extra attack on your auto attack, you will instead dodge, gain the Mirage, cloak, and then have available to you the ambush skill. And for staff, the ambush skill is not lacerating chop. We're gonna burst forward. It is. I can't even read it. But you'll send out 2 axes, and if you have it traded, you'll send out 3 axes, and they will try to target a enemy and strike them, causing confusion. And the name is imaginary axes. Ooh, someone's doing a bounty. Let's go do a bounty. Oh no, it's almost done. I'm gonna switch to staff just to show off some capabilities with the staff. Mirage does a very good job at not relying necessarily on the elite specialization weapon. It is very flexible in the fact that you can use other weapons quite productively, and they don't feel weak necessarily. But definitely I would say sword is a bit weird at the moment, and so is greatsword, as the Mirage is more condition focused. The sword and the greatsword don't really fit unless you are in PvP, which I have seen that the sword and greatsword work quite well actually, especially with the beams, and then you'll gain some might when using your greatsword. So we have this Mirage here. He is Ajara, swinging pendulum. I love the Jin. It's just the fact that we have Jin in this expansion. It's so nice. But we're going to use Stand the Glass, back up a little bit, try not to die too much, and then step into the mirror, and then activate our ambush skill. And with it traded, all of our clones that are active will also gain it. And especially for the staff, it allows for really high burst damage, to the point where I'm getting like 40 stacks of confusion in PvP and like 30 stacks of torment, and in a PvP scenario it does a lot of damage. But if you're just doing that on golems, it looks really cool. But if you're in a game, you do run the risk of an enemy player Condi cleansing those conditions, and then you just have to reset and try to get them all back.
Maybe I was the illusion all along.
We're gonna finish off this. Oh no, I went down. So I ended up foolishly dying in that bounty, and it was great. But I ended up cutting that portion, and I'm up here in the desolation still. But I just wanted to briefly wrap up everything that I was saying, because I feel like I did an absolutely terrible job, and I'm sorry. It's like I haven't done one of these in so long. It's like when you try to ride a bike after like 3 years of not riding a bike. No one ever experienced that, just me. Okay. Anyway, but I would like to make some recommendations as to how they might possibly improve the Mirage. With the axe skills, I think they're pretty solid. I don't think they need too much tweaking. Lingering Thoughts is pretty good. Axe's imagery is really, really great, especially with confusion generation. So I really wouldn't change the weapon skills. And for the Mirage traits, I don't really see my... Ooh, I did actually have one recommendation. With the middle line for mostly survivability with Renewing Oasis, Mirage Mantle, and Elusive Mind. This is somewhat more PvP focused. It could be in a PvE scenario where you want to be a Mirage tank, possibly. But the top is more based on Mirage mirrors and clone generation and all that stuff. The bottom line is more on condition damage and axes. This middle part is more on survivability. I do think that Renewing Oasis is a really nice trait. It's fairly strong for a minor trait. For the Master, the Mirage Mantle, I don't find this to be particularly interesting at all. I think axes are mirrored axes and Desert Distortion are just so much better than Mirage Mantle. If they want to try to push the survivability aspect of the Mirage, I would also like to add a heal after Mirage Cloak ends. Something like a 200 heal, nothing too crazy. But then some people might be like, Kroof, you can heal after you successfully dodge when using the Mirage, the Rune of the Mirage, right? Yeah, Rune of the Mirage. I'm pretty sure that's it. I say that's true. However, not everyone's going to run Rune of the Mirage, and that's only if you successfully evade. For the Mirage Mantle, you don't have to successfully evade it at all. It just has to be when Mirage Cloak ends. And I don't know how much the Rune heals for. What I was thinking for the Mirage Mantle, it'd be something as simple as like 200, 150, nothing too crazy. And that will give you even more incentive to take the Rune of the Mirage to get that double heal if you are going for more survivability. Just something that popped up in my head, nothing too crazy. I think the miners are pretty good. Elusive Mine is great. I didn't really have any problem with that. Infinite Horizon is really strong, and so is Dune Cloak. Dune Cloak is really a melee trait. Sometimes I'm in staff, so I don't typically use it, but if you want more bleeding and condition damage, and just more condition damage, definitely take Dune Cloak. And that's all I really wanted to say for the traits. I do want to mention one thing for the utilities. Possibly False Oasis could get just like a little buff for the healing. I think the healing's fine. But I don't know. Some people might be a little bit disappointed in the interval at which it heals, or just the overall strength of it. But I think it's fairly strong. But one thing I did want to mention that is definite for me is Sand Through Glass. It is a stun break, and it's on a 25-second cooldown, which is really nice. However, I would also perhaps like to buff it just a little bit more by giving it Vigor when you finish the skill. Because currently, there is no skills on the Mesmer that will give the Mesmer Vigor, which is a fairly important part in the Mirage if you are going for condition damage. The only way you can get Vigor is through Shattering, and that's only 3 seconds. If you do trade it with Bountiful Disillusionment, your Cry of Frustration will give the player 11 seconds, 8, 9, 10, 11 seconds of Vigor. Simple mental math, but I can't do it all. So you do get fairly limited Vigor in a way. I would like to maybe see a 3-second Vigor buff for Sand Through Glass, just to, tie the whole entire thing together. I don't know. Something that popped in my mind. Definitely up for discussion, but I think that might help it in the long run. So that was pretty much my overview of the Mirage and how I've been playing it so far. I'm sorry if that video was so long and so discombobulated. I'm going to try to edit to make it a little bit more cohesive. But I'm getting back into the swing of things, and I'm going to do a couple other classes right now just to knead my brain to make it more elastic and malleable to this type of a video once again, because I haven't done this in so long. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Subscribe for more Path of Fire content. Like the video if you liked it. I have some links down below if you still want to buy Path of Fire. I'm also thinking about starting a Patreon and or PayPal because I'm financially struggling. It's fun. But I'm still mentally just trying to figure that out. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone. Mwah.